Hey guys, it's Sean here, and in this video, we're going to talk about the stag strategy. Now, in previous videos, I told you guys to go find 5 to 10 keywords, throw them all in an ad group, and let's get our ads started. I'm going to give you a more structured strategy. So, stag stands for single themed ad group. And it is exactly what it sounds like, okay? What we're going to do is in our ad groups, we're going to find a bunch of keywords that are along the same theme and put them in an ad group, okay? So if we're doing rent to own, for example, we might have a bunch of keywords around apartments. We'll put them in an apartment themed ad group. And we might have a bunch of other keywords around houses. We might have a bunch of other keywords around low income, okay? In the next video, I'm going to show you how this works in action, but I want to talk about it from a more theoretical and practical standpoint in this video, okay? So prior to summer 2022, I used to do what's called a SCAG strategy, okay? And I taught this for many, many years. In fact, I probably practiced this myself for about 8 years in the ad space. And I was very reluctant to switch, but I have seen dramatically good results by moving away from what's called a single keyword ad group. And in that strategy, for example, if I had a keyword, best apartments for rent, and then I had another keyword, apartments for rent near me, those would all get their own ad group. I would have one for the best apartments and one for the apartments near me. Now, in 2023 and beyond, because they're both apartment keywords, I would throw them all in the same ad group, okay? And the goal prior to summer 2022 was to have full control over the bidding, the ads, the relevance. If I had a keyword, apartments near me, and Microsoft and Google would only show my ads for that search term, I could build pages around it, ads around it. I can control the bidding for that specific keyword and so on. However, Microsoft and Google last year changed what an exact match was, okay? And we talked about this briefly when we did the match type video. And now close variants count. So apartments near me will trigger ads for a bunch of different things, okay? And I give an example here, winter vacation. Back in the day, if I told Microsoft or Google, I only want to show my ads when somebody types in the search term on the exact match level, winter vacation, they would do so. Now they allow a more looser version of that. So when I tell Microsoft or Google, I want to target winter vacation at the exact match level, it could trigger ads for ski trips, December getaways, things along those lines. So it kind of takes away from your control. And as an advertiser, you no longer have control of bidding on exact keywords, okay? So prior to summer 2022, this is how a campaign structure would look like. You would have a campaign, and underneath the campaign, you would have, I'm just giving an example if we had 3 keywords, okay? You would have ad group 1, and in that ad group, there would only be 1 keyword. And in ad group 2, there would be another keyword. And in ad group 3, there would be yet another keyword. This was called the single keyword ad group strategy. And certainly there are people watching this that have seen my courses in the past, and I have taught this, okay? This is no longer relevant, and it's not best practice. So around, I would say, September, October 2022, we switched to stags, 1 theme per ad group. Since the lines are really blurred between exact, phrase, and broad matches, it really just makes sense to fill an ad group with keywords along the same theme and use all different types of match types, okay? I personally recommend still, when you're doing a themed ad group, you just start with phrase match because it's not going to be as limited as exact match. Even though exact match, it still definitely does take less traffic. And broad match, you're just going to get too much junk, okay? So phrase is the way to go. And as we go on in the program, I'm going to show you how and when I would add in exact and maybe even broad inside the same themed ad group over time, but start with phrase, okay? Example would be the rent to own niche, okay? You might have a theme that has a bunch of apartment keywords. You might have another theme that has a bunch of house keywords and another theme that has low income keywords, okay? There's no limit to the amount of themes. Try not to overthink it and just loosely fit themes together. Don't be too rigid, okay? A 1-bedroom apartment is not different from a 2-bedroom apartment. I would lump those together, but an apartment is certainly different from a house, okay? Don't overthink it. If you think they should go in different themes, just test it out. If you start seeing a lot of overlap, then probably combine keywords together. And as we go through this course over time, you're going to see what that means, but try not to be perfect, okay? At the end of the day, Google just wants you, and Microsoft, I should say, Microsoft and Google, they want you to build your ad groups around themes, and they don't want you to be super rigid around it, okay? So an apartment is different from a house, is different from low-income individuals, okay? Now you might say, well, Sean, what if I have a townhouse and somebody says low-income housing? Is that a housing keyword? Is that low income? I'm going to leave that up to you. Don't overthink it. Try to group them as best as you can, and then just throw it out there, okay? That's how I do it. That's how every advertiser does it. And if you think that a keyword could be part of both themes, pick one and put it in it, okay? Don't overthink it. Try to have at least 20 keywords to start, and you can go as high as 100. I have some themed ad groups now that have 100 plus keywords in it, and they're all around the same theme. Okay, so the campaign structure now looks a little bit more like this. You'll have a campaign. You might have ad group 1, and inside that ad group, you'll have a theme with a bunch of keywords. Okay, in ad group 2, you'll have another theme with a bunch of keywords. And in ad group 3, you'll have yet another theme that has a bunch of keywords. All right, so this is always subject to change. I would say that the results that I've been getting since I made this switch have been more traffic, and without sacrificing quality. So my cost per lead and my profitability has sort of maintained, right? It's been the same, but I've taken in a lot more traffic by being able to add more keywords and being less rigid. And it's easier, right? In a single keyword ad group strategy, you could have 500 different ad groups with 500 different it could be just a disaster to manage. You could now, in this strategy, you could have 500 keywords across maybe 10 ad groups with 50 keywords. Now you only have to manage 10 ad groups versus 500, okay? So it's much easier to manage as well, all right? So that is it for the stag strategy. See you on the next video.